my view, Canada enjoys a very solid reputation around the world. We're considered to be a friendly nation, a country that has a stable political, economic, and financial landscape. And these are things that make Canada attractive for not only corporate investors that are looking to set up new facilities or offices, but also to talented individuals globally that are looking to relocate to a safe and stable environment that Canada offers. I also find that Canadians are known to be a diverse group. We welcome people from all over the world with a diverse range of skills, educations, and backgrounds. And this is truly something that makes Canada stand out in the globe in terms of our competitiveness to attract skilled immigrants from all over the world. London is one of the leading mid-sized cities in Canada. It really is unique in the sense that it offers a very high degree of diversity of industries, occupations, and opportunities. We have a very strong manufacturing sector. Within the manufacturing environment, we're known for defense, aerospace, food and beverage processing, automation, advanced manufacturing applications within automotive industries, and so on. A lot of people know London because of our post-secondary institutions. We're home to Western University and Fanshawe College, which are some of the largest institutions in all of Canada for post-secondary education. And because of this strength in higher education, we attract well over 60,000 students to London every year. And this adds to the vitality and vibrancy of our community, our downtown, our arts, culture, and recreation scene, and so on. And over the last 10 years or so, London's digital, creative, and life sciences industries have thrived as well as we've attracted and grown a lot of technology companies and companies that are leading in medical devices, imaging, and pharmaceuticals. Manufacturing continues to be very important in this region in southwestern Ontario. As you know, we are located along the 401 corridor, which is one of the busiest trade corridors in North America. So a lot of goods movements happen in our neck of the woods. So manufacturing sector supports automation, advanced manufacturing applications with automotive and other transportation goods related manufacturing, food and beverage, which we'll talk about in a second as well, building products manufacturing. So this includes solid surfaces, windows, doors, siding, different things that go into the construction industry are manufactured in the region as well, along with a growing trend towards IIoT, the Industrial Internet of Things. So this includes automation, this includes systems integration, robotics, and sensor development to make sure advanced manufacturing applications are all connected. There's a growing industry trend around cobots, collaborative robots that are being deployed in the region as well. And we have a lot of companies here that have capability around automation and systems integration for manufacturing. Food and beverage processing is a very significant part of what we do. We sit in some of the richest agricultural lands in all of Canada. So a lot of primary crop production and animal production happens in the region around London. But because London is the urban center in southwestern Ontario, we attract a lot of food processing companies that are able to tap into the raw material supply in the region as well as benefit from the 401 corridor to get their goods out to the marketplace very quickly. Regardless of what industry we look at, whether it's manufacturing, food and beverage, or others, in our view, there are three components that are very critical. One is infrastructure. So what do we mean by infrastructure? We have to have the right industrial lands, the right servicing within those parks, the right access to water, sewage treatment facilities, natural gas, electricity, all of those things that are vital for any operation to succeed. London invests heavily in all of that infrastructure that I just mentioned. This includes highway access. This includes high capacity servicing to our industrial parks. This includes municipal investment in our own industrial lands to buy and service industrial properties. So that's where your point on London being the only community that draws its fresh water supply from two of the world's largest sources of fresh water, Lake Erie and Lake Huron, is very important to food companies. because you want to be assured as a food manufacturer that you have a reliable and uninterrupted supply of fresh quality drinking water coming in at all times. This is even more important for beverage processing companies that use water as an ingredient in what they're looking to do, right? So that's about infrastructure. The second component that we consider very important to all these industries is workforce. We have to have the right supply of talented individuals ready to work in these environments, whether it's food or automation or robotics or auto part manufacturing. We have to have the right mix of skills that can be deployed in those areas. This is where we've done a lot of work with both Western University and Fanshawe College to have the right training programs in place, as well as the right conduits into industry. It's not just good enough to have the academic training. We need to have the experiential learning, those pathways that lead students into meaningful employment and entrepreneurship opportunities upon graduation. So LEDC serves as that conduit, as that bridge between industry and academia, where we are able to take professors, chairs, deans, and senior leadership at both Western and Fanshawe into industrial settings to understand the needs of employers, to make sure that the talent pool that's created in London meets or exceeds the needs of employers. And there's never a start or stop to this process. As you can imagine, the needs of employers are constantly changing, which means we need to constantly adapt and improvise at the post-secondary level to ensure that that talent pool has a very receptive home when they graduate. So a lot of work in workforce development. And by the way, not to just get fixated on post-secondary, we're doing a lot of work to attract skilled immigrants to London as well, because not all of these open positions can be filled with post-secondary graduates. Some require project management expertise, experience in a real-world setting of 5-10 years or whatnot. So that's where we're doing a lot of work to attract those skilled individuals to London. And the third piece I want to talk about is a support ecosystem. So just because we have the infrastructure and the workforce itself doesn't doesn't round off the picture very well. We need to have a support ecosystem in place as well. So what does this mean? Support ecosystem ensures that we have suppliers that are ready to work with these companies as well. So if you're a food processing company, you would want to know that there are suppliers of logistics, automation, equipment, material handling, all these different things that are required to sustain the organization. And again, this goes across the board in manufacturing, food processing, and other environments. So we work with a lot of companies that are in the support ecosystem to ensure that the entire sector is served very well. Before I give you examples, one of the things that we are very proud of in London is our success in attracting companies that have set up their first facility in all of North America or Canada. So I gave you the example of Dr. Oetker. They were shipping frozen pizzas from Germany. So for them to have set up their first production facility, they had a lot of choices. They could have gone in the US, Mexico, Canada, just from a high level standpoint. When they narrowed their search down to Canada, it's all over Canada. They could have set up pizza production anywhere. So for us to compete at that level, it's very important to know some of these variables that are in play. There's another great example of Maple Leaf Foods setting up the largest chicken processing facility in all of Canada that's coming to London. That facility is actually underway right now. It's being built. So they bought 100 acres of land from the City of London to build this state-of-the-art production facility for chicken protein. And that this is going to be a substantial investment of close to $700 million that Maple Leaf Foods is investing in. This will create over 1,600 new jobs when it's operational in about 2 years. So those two examples are within the food industry. I can name a few other leading companies that chose London for their first facility in all of North America. Sterner is a company out of Austria that invested in a new facility to produce silicone injection molded products for healthcare and automotive industries. They are a very successful company and have grown rapidly. Over the last 10, 12 years that they've been in London, they've already grown their plant by double. They've expanded significantly and continuing to hire more people. Hyundai LNC is another leading company out of Korea. They make solid surface products that are distributed through Home Depot, IKEA, and a lot of other companies. They are in the construction business, in the industry that serves homeowners and commercial construction projects. So some of these examples were of facilities where they had a lot of choices. They could have gone anywhere. For them to come to Canada, Ontario, and then London, Ontario has a lot of unique things that we can talk about. Over COVID, there were a number of food companies such as Dr. Oetker. Nestle is another one in London that produces ice cream products like Haagen-Dazs and others. They've experienced significant growth over COVID. London's food sector continues to thrive. I mean, this is something that we are looking to double down on going forward, and we'll talk in more detail as we go. But there are initiatives underway, such as the Western Fair in London, that's creating an incubation and food acceleration environment to help young companies grow to the next level, such as Nuts for Cheese, and we have dozens of others in that space. So over COVID, a lot of growth within the food space in London. You know, historically, Canada's economy has grown based on foreign direct investment activity. We're a nation that attracts new investments based on the strengths that we've talked about throughout this session. London area is very similar in that regard. Over the last 10, 15 years, if we look at the volume of investments that have happened here from overseas investors from Japan, Germany, Korea, China, US, and the list goes on and on. Austria, we mentioned earlier. It's a very long list. And these overseas investors have found the confidence in our market to invest in large-scale facilities. These are not facilities that are here to serve a short-term contract. They have made strategic investments because their location in London serves as a gateway for them for North America, where they're looking to cover a much bigger market from the London facility. So I think that's something that we have to be open to receiving going forward as well, because that's the way to keep growing.